I know you've seen me do a pie a million times, a crust, but we're still doing the same crust. We never change. All right, so, oh, I don't have a measuring cup. Let me get a measuring cup. All right. Also, last week when the cop was on the lawn, and I went out to get him cake and stuff. This was Monday. This was Monday afternoon. Now it was the first day I was back. I know. I said after it was over, I should have poisoned them. Anyway, I was so angry. I can't even tell you. Anyway, so Monday, this first day I'm back. Now they've been here for a couple of weeks, but there's been nothing going on. The Zoom. They don't know what the Zoom is. So I went out with the cake for all the guys, and the cop says to me, "What are you doing there?" Because he saw the cars, I said, I have cooking classes. So he says, you teach people how to cook? So I said, yeah. He said, why is nobody laughing all the time? I said, well, we have a good time, too. He said, well, it just sounds like everybody's laughing all the time because the windows are open.
Right.
I said, well, that's a nice memory that you're going to walk away from.
That's right.
I said, I don't mind that you think I'm making people laugh all the time. All right, so I'm cutting in the Crisco, and I'm only making one crust, so this is only a half a batch. This is 1.5 cups of flour and 5 ounces, well, it's 5 ounces. It's a half a cup plus 1.5 tablespoons of Crisco and a half a teaspoon of salt. That's what's in this bowl. And I'm just cutting in the Crisco. I had a girl come on Monday night that I haven't seen. She was on my volleyball team when she was 13. And unbeknownst to me, one of my students is a friend of hers, and she brought her as a guest. And she walked in the door. I haven't seen her in, well, she's probably 65 now. So how long is that? 40 years?
Yeah.
More. I recognize her immediately, even with the mask on, which creeps me out a little. But when I started making the pie, and she saw this in my hand, she says, oh, my mother used to do that. I said, really?
So most of us are going to make a 9-inch pie.
No, you can't do this in a 9-inch dish. It's too much filling.
But so they don't make a 10-inch anymore.
Well, you can use a 9.5, a deep 9.5.
Oh, okay.
And you can it'll be a little bit too much filling. You can put it in a little side thing and just eat it. Because it's sort of like a cheesecake. It's kind of like a cheesecake with blueberries in it, to tell you the truth, with a crumb topping. It's really a nice. This is my granddaughter's favorite pie.
And you need extra water because it's dry today,
This time of the year, the flour is so dry. Don't forget, I buy under 50 pounds at a time.
Yeah.
I don't go through it. I mean, I go through it pretty fast, but not that fast. So it's I don't know.
50 pounds of Wonder?
Yeah. That's how I buy it. That's why all the cake flour that I buy, 50 pounds. That's why I have so much storage. When the pandemic hit and people couldn't get flour, I must have had 200 pounds easy of flour in the house. Easy, 200 pounds. So people would call me up and I'd say, "Come over, because I can give you some." I put 5 or 10 pounds in a bag.
I thought of that. I need
that.
I had like 6 pounds of yeast. Now that's about a quarter of an ounce is a package, so that's like 300 packages of yeast I had. So I had plenty. So I gave people yeast, I gave people flour.
I wish they'd do something with those Wonder containers. I hate
Oh, I hate
I
them.
know.
Right. All the stuff doesn't come out.
I cut it open.
Yeah. But then if you don't use it.
No, at the very end. I cut it at the end. Because it's small enough to begin with, they reduce the size.
They used to make it in a 5-pound bag, which is lovely. They sell it at the PX. They used to sell it at the PX in Niantic, or wherever there's a PX up there someplace. Stonington, maybe? I don't know. Where's the Coast Guard? New London?
Yes.
Groton?
Wow.
Yeah, someplace like that. There's a PX. So one of my students used to go there because her husband was in the military, and she used to buy the 5-pound bags, but now I can get 50-pound bags, so it's even better.
Where do you get it? Online?
No, Restaurant Depot. You might be able to get a 5-pound bag online. You might be able to.
Bag, just being in a bag alone would be good.
Yeah. when I was doing the pies for the, they had some sort of a pie festival in Branford, and they asked me to teach people how to make pies. So I did, and then nobody wanted to make it a Londra, because it's expensive,
Right.
you know. I said, oh, for God's sakes. So I bought all the flour, and I gave it to people just to shut them up. I tell you.
I said I had to cough and cry a year and a half. I wasn't sure how to do it.
What's the matter?
I said I had to coughed in a crowded a year and a half. I'm reading your apron today.
Yeah. Guess who gave this to me?
Michael,
Yes.
he loves to buy aprons for you.
Oh my God. Last night, one of my students said the first time she came to class, Michael was in her class, the very first class, I had given Michael something in a dish with a dome. So he brought it back to me, and the dish was filled with Cheetos. So if you picked up the dome, the Cheetos would have gone all over the floor. Now the dome had a knob on it. I couldn't turn it over to keep him from falling out. And I'm thinking to myself, how much time did it take him to do this?
You
One
probably
at a
filled up
time.
the dome and then put the thing
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it
yeah.
and flipped it over.
Yeah, but you couldn't put it down because the knob was in the way. You couldn't,
Oh.
He did it in his hands.
Or on his lap or
on his lap maybe, I don't know. Just trying to figure it out though.
He's trying to annoy you.
Then he made me a rabbit casserole with, what are those marshmallow peeps? Those bunny ones. Okay, he put peeps in a casserole dish. I don't know what the hell else you put in it, but something else. He brings it to me. Oh my God. For St. Patrick's Day, he brought me Lucky Charms.
Betty Ann, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but where do you measure that 10-inch? Is it
Inside
inside?
this,
Okay.
inside the rim.
Inside the rim, not the
Not the
bottom.
Not the
At the
bottom.
bottom.
Now for this, you see how
Because
you want,
I have a couple at home that were my mother's.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
sure what they,
Oh, so maybe I do have it. I have one that was my mother's too, and I always thought it was like 11. Maybe
that's
it is.
okay, 11 is fine, because 11 is a little bit narrower. It's the same volume as a 10. You see how
perfect.
the size?
I gotta check that out.
So is that measured on your board, like, you know how your board does measuring?
Yep.
What does that come to, 12?
You need to be 1 inch on each side bigger.
Okay.
The outside of this dish is obviously more than 10 because you have the rim.
Wait, so you're measuring right inside the lip?
You're measuring right inside the lip, correct. It says it on the bottom of the dish too, what size it is.
Not all of them.
No,
No?
The old ones don't.
not my
Oh.
grandmother's.
I didn't know
Maybe
that.
look.
Me too.
Oh, well, yeah, you're better off having it bigger than smaller.
Okay.
If it's 11, that's great because it's not quite as deep as a 10, but it's the same volume.
So that's deeper than a 9? Or
Yes.
not as deep
Yes.
as a 9 or something?
A 10 is much deeper than a 9, yes. It's 1.5.
It doesn't look it. Yeah.
It's 1.5 times the amount from a 9 to a 10. Because it's deeper and of course it's a little bit wider.
That's okay. It's just-
So I'm rolling this in because this pie is going to puff because we're going to have the souffle effect with the eggs and the sour cream. So you notice how I'm rolling it towards the middle, and just in case this thing puffs, the crust won't snap off because we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to do the simplest flute. I'm just going to press my thumb onto the rim of the dish.
What kind of crust is this called?
This is just a flaky crust. There's no sugar.
Oh, I'm looking on top. I'm sorry. It's on the bottom. Yeah, I saw the sugar.
When you have a sweet crust, it's called a pâté sucre. But this is not a sweet crust. I'm just making the indentation a little bit more defined. I'm Of course, I'm gonna put a collar on this. You see how I'm turning the dish as I go? So that my angle is always the same. There's my crust, see?
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
All right, so now, what I have for the filling is, I have some flour and some sugar and some salt. I have 1.5 cups of sugar. I have some salt and 5 tablespoons of flour. I'm gonna stir that together, mostly for the salt. The other day when class was over on Monday morning, when we had lunch, Steph had a piece of pie and Steph goes, "Mom, you make good pie." I said, "Well, that's good to know." It was like, she never said that before.
You never said that before.
No, she has. She has. The way she said it was like she was telling me something revolutionary. You know? How's your mom? Kim? How'd she do with her teeth?
Oh yeah, how's
Well,
your
that's a
mom?
work in progress, because after that much time, it's not gonna fit, but at least we made it.
Oh,
She got a beautiful haircut on Friday, so she looks like herself again.
Oh,
Made
good.
me feel a
She
little
looks
better.
great.
Yeah.
She's 93.
Okay, this is the sour cream, the egg, and the
Yes, the baby.
almond extract. And what I'm doing is to mixing it so that there's no streaks of yolk. Whenever you mix an egg in, that's your benchmark, no streaks of yolk. I'm gonna mix this together till it is smooth. Then I'm gonna put in the blueberries, and our filling is done. So, when we did this cake, when we did this pie, it must have been a good 20 years ago. Maybe even more. I don't remember, it was so long ago. And one of my students made the pie, and she came and she said it didn't set. Because this has to set. You know, this is like a cheesecake, it's got to set. I said, well, tell me what you did. She did everything exactly according to this. I said, well, I honestly don't know what could have gone wrong. This is beyond my able to help. I can't help you with this because I don't know what possibly it could be. If you put the flour in and you mixed everything and you used the right kind of sour cream, you didn't use light sour cream, you know, all the questions I asked her. She said, no. Okay, does it again, same thing. She comes back and I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, when you put it in the oven, did you put it on the bottom rack? Because you're not supposed to put it on the bottom rack. You want to have the top of the pie in the middle of the oven. Oh, she said, I know I didn't put it on the bottom rack because my pizza stone is on the bottom rack. I said, well, there you go. That's why the pie, yep, that's why the pie didn't cook. I never would have asked her, do you have a pizza stone in your oven?
You would?
No, it wouldn't have occurred to me.
You're kidding.
Okay, these are the berries. 5 cups of berries is about 1.5 pounds. So that's 24 ounces if you're buying them, you know, fresh. We got these frozen at Costco and they're beautiful. I didn't pour off.
Are they Kirkland?
Kirkland, yeah, I didn't pour off much liquid. There wasn't much liquid in here. So I'm going to fold this in.
1.5 cups is about how much did you say?
1.5 pounds.
Uh-oh.
What's going on in the water? Is there magic to it?
No.
She was just using it.
Go in the, check the sink over there. Oh dear God. They cut the wires between the pillars.
That's where
So far.
Could it be the faucet?
Yeah, it could be the faucet. Yes.
Well, that's good.
Is that one of those
We
ones
should
you
have
have
water.
to raise
They
that?
didn't shut your water off because they're taking that house down. They're almost done with that.
No, the water's not
believe
off. Terrible faucet. I don't ask for
So
much.
don't get that faucet.
All I like is Dawn, clean sponges.
You're simple.
Really is. Putting everything in the other kitchen, hopefully that works.
I will fix it for you.
How are you gonna do that?
Try to move on.
Magic.
That's one of those touch things,
It was a good idea.
It was a good idea, but
It never
Turn-
Can you
it
shut
didn't-
that option off?
Yes.
or-
but then sometimes nothing comes out at all. It's
persnickety.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the filling,
Easier.
and now I'm going to make the topping. Now this is flour, sugar, and I'm going to cut in the butter. I'm going to throw in some nuts. Now I did not chop these nuts and then toast them. I toasted them because if you chop nuts this fine and you toast them, they will burn in no time at all.
Did you cut in the butter?
Yeah. I already started it before, so.
Vivian, could you buy roasted almonds or just?
They are usually salted.
Okay, so you just get regular
Raw.
almonds.
Yeah, fresh almonds, yeah. Salted almonds that are already toasted would be too salty for this, yeah. Because nuts that you're supposed to use with drinks are salted, so you're thirsty, so you drink more.
Okay.
No, that's true.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And you don't want to do that when you're baking.
Could you take a pie recipe that has a crumb topping and make it into a 2-crust topping, or not necessarily?
You can, but when you have a pie that has a crumb topping, it has sugar in it. So there's less sugar in the filling. So you would have to adjust that. And if you couldn't have nuts, you don't have to put the nuts in.
No, I'm just talking about
Oh, in
just
general,
generally
yeah,
speaking.
in general. Now this pie, because it has the sour cream and the eggs, it's a very dense filling. So that means that if you tried to make this in a metal dish, it would literally never cook. Because you have to, the glass allows the heat to go right through, because this is the densest pie you could ever possibly make, because there's so much water in the filling and in the berries. Now someone said, can I switch this to a different kind of berry? The problem is that blueberries don't have a tremendous amount of liquid, but raspberries and strawberries, if they're frozen, they do. So I probably wouldn't switch it to that, but I could switch it to some peaches, maybe mix peaches and blueberries. That would be nice. But to switch it totally to a different fruit, I don't think I would do that with this. And I mean, you could always try it, but I need another paper clip with that one. Oh, I got one.
Lydia, were those frozen or fresh?
They're frozen. I'll show you the bag. I'm going to wrap this around a little bit. Okay, let's flop these out.
Beautiful.
Last time we lost power, and this is 3 pounds. So what I did was I weighed 5 cups, and it was 1.5 pounds.
Do you have to thaw them first or not?
If you don't have to, but if you do, it'll cook much, much faster, because when you have to wait for the souffle effect to trigger, the filling has to be warm. So,
when they're fresh, they'll cook faster too.
yeah, and especially if they're not cold.
And where's the thing?
It's a box.
The box?
Yeah, it's a
And
box in the back.
if you were gonna thaw them.
The battery might be dead, honey.
I don't think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So last summer, when we lost power, one of the many, many, many times, it was a long haul for me. I lost power from Tuesday until Sunday. So Thursday, I had just bought a case of blueberries, a whole case of blueberries, and that is a very expensive thing. What are you doing? Trying to find it?
I see it, but it's totally right behind that.
Oh.
You think I'll get electrocuted anymore?
No, I don't think it's batteries, honey. So anyway, I was upset that I had a case of blueberries and no power, but I didn't want to open the freezer. So Tuesday I lost power. Thursday morning my guys were cutting the grass. I always go out with cold drinks for them, but I didn't have any. I couldn't open it. I didn't want to open any refrigerator. So I said to the guy, I said, I don't have anything cold to give you. He said, well, we have water. I said, is it cold? He said, no. I said, you know what? Let me grab the ice out of the Viking. I'll pull the whole tub out. There's 10 pounds of ice. I just opened the door, ripped it out, closed the door. It was not open more than a second. The ice hadn't even started to melt. Now this was Tuesday. This was Thursday morning. The ice had not started to melt.
That's great.
So he said he was astonished that the ice was still intact. So Saturday, I'm thinking my blueberries are going to be rotten. Did you get it?
I see it.
My blueberries are going to go bad. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I opened the freezer. I pulled out the box. They were still frozen.
Wow. That's great.
From Tuesday to Saturday.
Wow.
And that's fruit too.
So I gotta say,
So did
Well
you
insulated.
like not
Yeah.
open it?
I didn't open it except for taking the ice out.
Yeah.
The only thing I did was I took the ice out. I didn't even put the bucket back. I just took it out and closed the door.
How can
Yeah.
the batteries?
These.
Is that a mowing?
No, it's a Delta.
Shit. I got a mowing, that's why not the example, when I do my kitchen over, it has a thing on the side, you know, the sensor, and also has, the manual.
She hates it. Hates it. Hates it.
Maybe you should be thinking that and have to replace the batteries.
Yeah, so it's annoying.
So far, so good.
This was fine for a while, and then all of a sudden, and
It's the
this
batteries,
this stupid thing was
You know,
expensive.
The batteries only kick in, mine is hooked up to the electric, so the batteries only kick in when the power goes out.
Oh no, this is all battery. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, there's our pie. All right, so we're gonna make.
That looks gorgeous.
Do you want to eat lunch now, or do you want to wait a little bit?
Wait.
Wait. Okay, we'll do the spring rolls first then. Oh, see, it doesn't work. So.
But the regular, shouldn't that work without batteries, like the regular
It should.
cars?
Yes, you would think that. You would think that, wouldn't you? Yes. Yes.
No,
It doesn't. Okay. Like I said, she hates it. All right, so these are the ingredients we're using for the spring rolls. I can't even tell you, when I saw that video last night. Oh, God. Oh, good Lord. And wait till you hear this. They didn't do anything with the wrappers. They just showed her how to make them. They didn't put anything in them, so there was nothing to eat. Now these wrappers are totally tasteless.
sorry, folks.
Do you want some of that gum stuff?
Yeah, I want to hear your pie too.
So Betty, do I have to share that pie with everybody?
Okay, this is a daikon. Okay, this is what we're gonna use. A daikon.
They always have.
I think we can.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much always this big. It's in the radish family. Yeah, it's in the radish family. It's crunchy. It's crunchy, and it is it's delicious. It goes great with this. Okay, so we're gonna peel this.
Is there anything else you can use this with?
This? You can put them in salads. Like a radish.
Less spicy?
Spicy.
It's not, oh no, it's not. It's not hot. It's not hot.
Yeah.
It's not hot at all.
Is it like the jicama?
Kind of, but it's softer than jicama. A jicama's
That was easy to cut through.
yeah, jicama is really, really, really hard. Did it work?
No.
No.
Do you have midnight?
Is it plugged, is there a plug, is it plugged in?
Yeah, I don't
Is there
think so.
electrical? Okay.
Has it always been battery operated?
Yeah. So nothing's working at all. Did you try it?
What are we missing?
Yeah, the light isn't on. The light should go on. Did you put the batteries in the right way, do you think?
I think I did, yeah.
Because I've done that, I put them in wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this on the mandolin.
Nothing else to do.
It's a tough life.
I just asked that question because.
What was your question? Besides the pie, is the pie for you?
I thought of something.
Oh,
I've been thinking about it and I keep forgetting to ask you. How's Ben?
Ben passed away.
Oh, yeah, no, I missed that.
He passed away in September.
Oh, in September.
Yeah. And they had no
His wife
service.
was sick. His wife was
His
sick.
wife had cancer, but she's fine.
She's fine.
What did he die of?
He had cancer. He had,
Did we know that?
I did. I would,
Nobody knows.
it was,
very quick.
it was very, very, he only lasted a few weeks after he was diagnosed.
What was it?
I think it was pancreatic. I don't even remember what it was, as a matter of fact. It was so goddamn
I've been
fast.
thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, so now. Oh, guess what? She cleaned this last night and then disconnected it, so now I didn't cut these into matchsticks. So, well, you know what? I got more Nikon, so I can do it again.
And we taste the pieces that didn't work.
My cleaner disconnected it, so it wasn't set up to cut the.
Could we taste the ones you're not using?
Oh, sure.
Just, I never
Yeah.
tasted it, yeah.
We probably have if we've had
Probably,
Asian food, but we
right.
don't know what.
Yeah.
You don't know what we're eating.
Something crunchy in there, yeah. Thank you.
Now, do you think there's
Like a radish.
a chance in the world I could have cut it that fast, that thin, with a knife?
No.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got a little spicy.
Yeah, it's nice.
I had Yukon fries that were delicious. Yukon?
You kind of gold?
I like this.
No, yucca.
Oh, yucca.
Yucca fries. Delicious.
What kind of pasta is it, Mom?
Delta. The hands-free.
Yeah.
This is very radishy with like a little
Yeah.
bite to it.
A little bit, but it's not, you wouldn't say it was hot, would you?
It's like it had, it's more.
I like it though. It's nice. It's wetter.
I like
Wetter,
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no calories.
No, radishes don't have any calories at all.
That's
So I'm,
why I ate the whole thing.
so I'm cutting up the carrots.
The next week?
Memorial Day.
Where is it? Oh, we have one there in September.
Oh, right, I think
We might have been uninvited to it, which is okay. Fine
we
with
have
that.
uninvited too.
Yeah, that's okay.
You have a lot of people coming?
Well, the venue needed their decision in February as to what they were gonna do, when the restrictions were much different than they are now, so consequently, it's not. So we're gonna have a reception, in the future.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because they already postponed it once.
Yeah.
Our friends are allowed, it's my daughter's one of her best friends, 100 people she's limited to.
Yeah, they were limited to 50 in February, so our families alone are limited to 50. You know. So we're doing the bridal party, the parents, that's about this, we're probably 30 people, but we're gonna get a DJ, so can dance.
That's allowed now.
Yeah, I mean, what's something?
Just say it's not.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna take the hot vinegar, we made our own seasoned vinegar. This is rice wine. Now you can buy seasoned vinegar, but it is much, much saltier than this. So I like to make my own. And seasoned vinegar means
Sugar and salt.
sugar and salt, all it is. And the amounts that I gave you are way less than what's in the seasoned vinegar that you can buy.
This right here.
Okay, everybody knows what rice wine vinegar is? We went to the Asian store to get it, and there were so many bottles that had no English on it. We weren't even sure what we were buying. So we wanted to make sure we had a bottle that had English on it, because God knows what we would have come home with.
Have you gone to the Indian market?
Yes,
Isn't that
Yes.
foot and a half?
and I heard that the Asian market in Milford is outstanding. This is the bok choy.
That used to be ShopRite.
It used to be ShopRite, now it's an Asian, it's
It's not an
big and
H&M
beautiful.
or H&M. What is it? It's not an H, what is it?
I don't know what it's called.
H Mart? I think H Mart is the chain that's awesome.
So you cut the top off the.
Yeah, it's a little chewy.
You just started that.
Discard it, yeah. And then I'm gonna just slice this as thin as I can.
Like celery.
Kind of, a little bit. No, it's in the lettuce family, but it's got more flavor. And the reason I'm using little ones is because the big ones are tough if you don't cook them. So that's why I cut the top off. I mean, you don't have to cut the top.
What's tough if you don't cook it?
The bok choy,
Oh.
the big ones. They're like big like this. And those tops are really tough. But you cook
There's a lot
them.
of baby ones now too.
Yeah, they have a lot of baby ones. You don't need the baby ones. The small ones are good. They come baby, small, and large. So this is the bok choy and the mesclun.
My cat loves bok choy.
Jack
Yeah, he goes crazy for it.
Jack is
No, Hunter.
Oh, here's the shrimp.
Hunter's my vegetarian cat.
I'm gonna put the shrimp in here. Can everybody have shrimp?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't.
I can eat shrimp. No, I
Oh,
can
you
eat
can't eat
shrimp.
shrimp? Oh, you can.
Steph can't.
That's little shrimp.
This is my citrus vinaigrette that I made. Now you can do any citrus vinaigrette you want. This is the one that's in my new book. This is the one we had when we were in France. It has
Is it-
orange.
Is there no recipe here for it?
No, there's no recipe. But you can use any citrus vinaigrette that you want. You can just use lemon and olive oil if you want. That's a citrus vinaigrette too. But this is lemon, lime, and orange, and it has a little bit of honey in it, plus some shallots. It's very nice.
Lemon, lime, orange.
And shallots, and then oil. I think it's really, really nice. Now see this, when I put all this stuff together, this would make a nice salad just for lunch.
And honey. She says honey.
A little bit of honey, yeah. It's in the book under salad. It says citrus vinaigrette.
We had to put in our own dividers.
Yes, I know they wouldn't do that for me.
Who was the person who edited? I met someone once. who that's what she does.
And it's booked.
She does table of contents and
Oh,
like that's what she does. And she's local.
what'd they say?
There's, I need to get over there, I can't do it, no.
You need help, Steph?
No, I can't, there's,
All right, so this is,
paper cuts.
let me have that go back, please. This is the bok choy, the daikon and the carrots. And then this is the bok choy, the mesclun and the shrimp, and that has the dressing on it. Okay? So we're ready to rock and roll here.
Just took it out of the vinegar.
I'm sorry?
Drained the vinegar.
I just drained it with the vinegar.
You saved
You can save the vinegar if you want. I'm gonna go over here to the sink and get some hot water. Okay, so now I have some warm water here.
How can you do that? Nothing to hold your answers. No, somebody has to hold your answers. Somebody has to, and then you drink. And it goes there. It works every time.
sugar.
We ready to put these together?
Yes.
All right, so now these are the spring roll wrappers. And this is rice paper.
So pretty.
Very brittle. Goes into the water,
I've never seen that.
okay? Usually I put down paper towels because I can't see the paper on the counter. I'm not gonna bother, because I made some of these ahead of them, so I don't have to make that many. So this has to soften, and when it's pliable, okay,
That was transparent, yeah.
it becomes transparent, yeah. But I'm only gonna do a couple, so I don't have to go crazy. Now I wanna put another one in as soon as I take that one out, because otherwise we're waiting too long.
What a sea.
Jellyfish.
It's like, yeah. Okay, so I put some filling, and you put a little bit of everything. Now, this is called envelope style. You roll it up envelope style. You fold in the sides, like that, and then you roll it up like a jelly roll. Now, this is very stretchy. So you see what I'm doing? I'm sort of pulling it, and I'm tucking it around, and there's your spring roll. Okay?
And very healthy.
Very healthy. Yes, it's very healthy. There's very, very, very little calories in this.
You could eat these toast. I could eat these.
Oh, for your dress?
You can eat these. Are you the food police too?
She can have pie.
I'm having pie. It's my dessert of the week. I get it dessert of the week.
Every
Everyone's
Wednesday.
saying
No.
Yeah, it's just not my nature.
It's one day.
I miss that. I go for my thing tomorrow.
Well, now if she whacks your butt and says you could lose 5 pounds,
Say, I've
Know
heard
that you-
that before.
yeah, know that you're in a good place. You forgot to put it in. When you forget to put them in, like when you're dumb like I am, you forget to put them in, you have to wait. Okay.
We had a wedding this weekend, and this was one of the reserves.
They're very, very, very popular. Very popular. Now, if I had made these ahead, I could cut them on an angle.
Yeah.
These are still a little bit too soft. I'll try on one of the ones I made ahead and see if I can cut them. But then you just serve them with some soy sauce. So we're gonna just pass some soy sauce around, but usually they have a little cup and you just dip it in.
Right.
Were they good?
Yeah, the food was delicious.
Where was
at
it?
Del Mar in Greenwich.
Oh.
It's really very good.
So these are really healthy.
Very healthy, yes.
You don't fry them like
No.
regular egg roll.
Well, these aren't egg rolls.
No, the spring rolls, right?
Egg rolls have a flour wrap, and they're fried.
Right,
These are nothing like, and these are not cooked at all.
right.
Oh, that one is really loose. Oh. I'm not paying attention.
So you can only put like one in at a time?
Yeah, but usually, if you take it out and you put the next one in,
Yeah.
by the time you roll it up, it's ready. It's when you forget that it's
Time for a joke.
time for a joke.
Yeah, we can do the joke, go ahead.
Oh. Did I tell you the duck joke?
No.
I didn't tell you the duck joke? Well, I gotta get this one out first.
You should
And
have
put the
your
other one
jokes in
in.
the back of your cookbook.
Do you know, Betty Ann, I was at a stable Monday, and this woman
But not
was
the one
in the
that's
parking
in.
lot,
There we go.
and she had a pet duck.
Oh,
It was 2 years old.
I followed her around.
It was like, she said, it's like having a toddler.
There was an internet thing on, I don't know about this
It was,
person,
I've
but
never seen a pet duck before.
Oh yeah, some people have them. One of my students has 2. They live in the house.
Yeah.
Oh.
I said, well, do you have like a pool for it? Like a little,
I don't know.
it has a little pen? It's- she's like, I can't believe it, like, I don't know, it was born, somehow she got it. And they called her and said, can you help? And she took this,
I wonder if that's the story that was on the internet.
You have to put
There
another
was
one
some
in
story. and
No, I'm
this
not gonna make it.
Duck that goes on car rides with her.
Oh, yeah.
And it's imprinted on her like
goes
it.
everywhere with her,
Yeah.
she carried it like you would carry a kid.
Well, you want to hear my duck joke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this hunter, he shoots a duck, and it lands on a barn. So there's a fence. So he starts to climb over the fence, and the farmer comes up and says, "What do you think you're doing?" And the hunter says, "Well, I shot the duck, and he's on the barn, so I'm going to go get him." He says, "That's my barn. That's my duck." And the hunter says, "Well, I shot him." He goes, "I don't care. That's my duck." He said, "Tell you what," he says, "we'll settle this the southern way." So the hunter says, "What's the southern way?" So the farmer says, "Well, I kick you in the nuts, you kick me in the nuts, I kick you in the nuts, you kick me in the nuts, and who's ever left standing gets the duck." So the hunter says, okay. So the farmer says, I'm going first. So the farmer kicks this guy in the nuts, and the poor guy just falls on the ground. He's writhing in pain. He's just in agony. He manages to stagger to the fence, and he pulls himself up on the fence. He's standing there, and he says, all right, now it's my turn. And the farmer says, nah, you can keep the duck.
Look, see?
That is really wild. Look at it. Oh my God.
It's
Where
like,
are you?
I was Stephanie in a barn.
What, is it a white duck?
No, it's a duck, like a regular
regular
duck.
duck.
Oh, you mean not a
Oh, it's a
message.
mallard.
Oh, that's a
right?
mallard.
It's
Yeah.
a mallard.
Well, they have other ducks that are like
No, it
white and
wasn't.
white.
Like, I was like, I was like,
It's not a white duck.
and it, no, it's.
She's not,
She
that's
brought
right.
it
Lisa.
up.
He actually
Jesus
brought it up
Christ.
as a.
Since it was born, she got it like
Just
just.
9.5 bucks in the freezer.
She's
Right?
had it for years.
I'm not kidding.
Well, yeah, they think that that's.
Let's use paper.
Right, yeah. You raise them, they think they, and they follow them.
That was his mommy.
Bottles or something like that, I don't know, some W name.
Okay, I'm gonna try to cut one of these just to show you that what you can do if they sit for a bit. These have been sitting for a bit, not much time, but so you cut them on an angle like this.
I had grandchildren in North Carolina.
Yeah, see, this is too soon. It's too soon to cut them.
How long are you supposed to let them sit?
A while, because they have to firm up a little.
So cute.
Here, go, Nancy.
Nancy.
I cut that so it's falling apart. I'm gonna give you some soy sauce.
So they don't have to be in the refrigerator, you leave them on the counter?
No, they have to be refrigerated.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah, because you have to have the shrimp.
Sorry. Oh, right, the shrimp.
I feel like this is sometimes served with some sort of sauce.
It is soy sauce.
No, something else.
Oh, you can serve it with another kind of sauce.
But,
Wait till you taste this dressing.
in the fridge,
Thicker.
and let them sit for 4 hours.
No, thank you.
They always give you extra.
Yeah.
So, let them sit ever in the refrigerator.
Oh, I'll take a picture of this. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you. I'm interested to see what you think about these after you just had them
Okay.
at a wedding. This one is falling apart. Pick them up, yeah, pick them up. You can eat them on a hand, or you can also use a fork. Yeah.
On YouTube. I don't even need you to make
Okay.
Figure it out.
That's enough.
Aren't they good? They're very fresh tasting, they're very low in calories, it's a great luncheon, it's a nice hors d'oeuvre. Now you can make these without the shrimp, of course, but you do lose quite a bit of the volume, so you won't make as many. Aren't they good? Yeah.
What is it, is that the seasoned vinegar that we taste?
And the dressing, the citrus vinaigrette.
The vinaigrette.
I'm gonna try it dipped in this just a little bit.
How long will they last?
Once
you make them.
We figured 4 hours. And I have covered them, so one time I made it for a party, I had some left over and I didn't throw them out, I kept them and I ate them the next day. But what happens is, you saw what the paper looked like.
Right, the wrap is hard, right?
The wrappers get brittle, yeah.
Oh.
Even if you cover them and everything,
So not good for boating.
The dressing's really good in this.
you know what you could do for boating? Just make this salad. Make a shrimp salad with all the ingredients.
That's right.
And just serve it on a dish.
Yep.
Because the filling is delicious. The rice paper wrapper has no flavor at all. It is contributing nothing.
No, there's a texture to it. I
Pardon?
don't know where there's like.
There's a texture, but there's no flavor. So what the rice paper is doing is only the vehicle to put it so you can get it in your mouth.
Yeah, so it keeps.
To make it an hors d'oeuvre.
Like cellophane.
And you said,
Yeah.
how small have you cut those?
Oh, just in half. And on the diagonal.
But you can't pick them up once you're cut them, very hard to pick up.
You can if you let them sit for a while.
Oh, okay.
These have only been sitting for half an hour. It needs to be longer than that. I mean, I doubt you're gonna make them and people are gonna eat them like this right away. Most of the time, you're gonna make them ahead, and they do firm up when you, and you can just serve them whole like this. Just serve them whole, it's easy. How were these like the ones you had at the restaurant?
Well, they were teeny, just a little bite.
Oh, they were tinier?
Well, it was pass around.
I wonder what kind of paper they used. They might have used the same paper, just folded more and made them smaller.
Could you put it like in a cupcake thing? Like a little muffin thing?
But then you have to have a fork.
Oh, you wrap it that way? With the thing, rice paper? Is that what do you mean?
I think you should make it littler.
Oh, you can make it smaller by putting in less filling.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I wanted to put as much filling as I possibly could.
Can you cut the rice paper though, like, pizza cutter or something?
Oh, God, no.
No?
You made something like this before, but this is much better. I don't know what you made.
I think it's the citrus dressing. That's the
Is
magic
it a new
ingredient.
dressing you put on?
No, so this is how I always make them.
This is much more flavor.
Yeah, I always make them like this. This is when I learned how to make them, I've been making them like this ever since. We haven't done this in a long time. Long time. And it was a request, so.
So you can only buy these rice papers at the Asian markets, or I don't have them at the grocery store.
I have them in the grocery, but in the salad area,
They have them in the grocery store? The
I said
rice?
they might.
Oh,
Asian section.
But in where the salads are,
I've not seen them in
there's
my.
like wonton wrappers, it's different, so maybe.
Yeah, but these aren't in refrigerated.
No,
These
they're
are dry.
refrigerated. These are dry.
Oh, right.
I've not seen these in the regular grocery store, but that doesn't mean they're not there. I just
But
never
that's
saw
not
them.
refrigerated. When you get your lettuce, is that refrigerated?
Oh, yeah, and the wonton wrappers are always refrigerated. Oh, yeah. Because they're dough. They're dough. So this is how they come, and there's about 30 in the package, but you can never count on everyone being okay because they break so easily. They tear, they break, and some brands are better than others. They always have a design. You see the design? Every company.
Can you read it?
Flying
No.
horse. It says flying horse.
Flying horse. Bontrang. 100% machine made and dried.
So they're not made in the store.
Not made in a store, no. I couldn't believe it. All right, so we are going to talk about pork. We're gonna go get a piece of pork right out of the fridge.
Like a little bony sausage. And then put your rub on it. I did do that. Yeah, but it's in the zip bag.
Oh, thank you.
And then you put it in the water.
Well, we did it when he wrote down the sickness.
He finds this whole set that somebody inherited, and he bought it from him. The whole set.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He inherited it from his aunt, who was single, lived alone, and was a chaperone. Just bought things because she was so lonely. All of this, plus the stands and all those pieces. They wanted, Louis bought me this whole set.
Oh, Bleecker Day?
Yes, it was $1,800 they wanted. He got them for $1,200. I said, Louis, it was somebody on Marketplace who inherited all this from his aunt who was a shopper. Tax on it all.
Never used.
No. Okay, so we're gonna make a pork roast. Now, this is a shoulder. Okay, can you see the fat and the skin on the top?
Yeah.
You always put it fat side up. Whenever you're cooking meat, you always put it fat side up, because as this cooks, it melts the fat and it bastes the meat. So it's very important to remember that when you're cooking a pork roast, like a lamb, a roasted beef, anything, you always cook it fat side up.
Is that pork butt?
This is a pork butt, correct?
Yeah, a big one.
Now, we're gonna talk about where it came from on the pig. So this goes in the pot,
Whoa.
okay? Now you need a good sized pot. By the way, this pot weighs 17 pounds. It's
Yeah.
empty.
I have that size.
Empty. And I can tell you, my back
I
is
know,
feeling
I
it.
have to.
What's the
Because
number
this-
on that one?
This is a nine and a half quarts. 9.5 quarts.
I have to find this picture I took to show you, and
it doesn't even look that big. There was this huge, it was on one of our vacations, I don't know if it was Canada or Italy, but huge, I think it was Canada.
Okay.
Le Creuset pot, huge. That was like a display. It was, yeah.
How would they pick it up?
That's
It's a
what I'm saying. I
display,
think
you
it was
know?
a display. I took a picture of it, and I gotta see if I could. It just looks so much. But then I looked at the pictures, and it doesn't even look like as big as it looks.
This is the water, the liquid smoke, and the spices. Now this is liquid smoke. Okay? It comes in much smaller bottles.
Yes, like
But
this.
this is the brand you want to buy, right?
And
Because
that's,
most of the other
right.
ones are artificial.
Oh,
And artificial leaves a nasty aftertaste. So this is concentrated liquid smoke, and this is hickory seasoning. Okay, that's what you're gonna taste today.
Right.
So, dissolving the sugar and a little bit of salt in the water and the liquid smoke. Now, what we're gonna do with this recipe is we are going to braise this meat. Now, there's 7 muscles in the shoulder, and those muscles are all connected with tissue, connective tissue. There's ligaments, there's tendons, and all those tendons and ligaments have collagen. With this type of cooking, it's called braising. The heat is hot enough to melt the collagen. So when we're done with this, the meat is going to fall off the bones. Everything is going to be separate. How are you doing?
She's having fun.
Wait till you get her bill.
you're gonna have a new faucet by the
We need to
weekend.
hold a flashlight for her maybe, huh?
Anyway, are you really going to put this on YouTube?
You don't want it?
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, things happen. You know, things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
I should have shit happen. Oh.
Real life.
After last week, oh my God, after last week. So anyway, there's 7 muscles in the shoulder. So there's a lot of tendons, a lot of connective tissue. So it all has to melt for this to be able to be shredded. So when we put this into the oven, the most important thing is to have a secure seal so the water does not evaporate. So we're gonna pour this in here.
I just bought a 9-quart. I'm so excited.
Did you? Now I'm going to put some foil. Even though this Le Creuset is heavy, I think it's a good idea to put a little foil in addition to the top. Now if you were using an all-clad pan, those lids are not heavy. So that you definitely should do the foil then.
How big is that pan?
This is 9.5 quarts. Weighs 17
Much
pounds,
bigger.
empty. Pardon?
I said mine was much bigger.
Maybe it's 11.
No, I bought a 9.
Oh.
We got enough.
How much is yours weigh? We don't know.
I bought a stone.
Oh, it's a Staub?
Might be a little heavier.
They're heavier?
Yeah, it might be. But I like that fish on it.
Well, you know,
can
it
get
could be
different-
bigger in diameter and not as deep.
Maybe.
Maybe your diameter is a little bit, this is probably 14 inches, maybe yours is like 15 or something. Okay, so this goes into the oven for 4.5 hours at 300. Now, when you take it out of the oven, it's gonna be very, very, very hot. And to try to shred it and take it apart, not such a good idea, because you should wait a little bit until it cools, because otherwise you're just gonna burn your hands. So I have mine cooled a little bit here, because last night I burned my hands.
And then it's so much easier.
Mama.
Yeah, but who
How silly of me.
Get another one first?
We have two small ones.
Too small.
We have 2 7, this is 9.5, we have 2 7.5. Honestly, I don't use the biggest one unless we really, really, really need it, because it's too heavy to physically kill it to pick it up. It's just a killer to pick it up.
Yeah. So.
I'll tell you what, that rack makes it so.
Yeah.
So if you did this overnight,
We can't do it, it's too long. It's too long.
because you couldn't
Yeah.
shred it, so you have to do it like in the morning.
Yeah, and
wait
then-
till it cools, like, and it
yeah.
got cool out.
Yeah, just to let it sit out.
Cool it.
Yeah, that's
out
it. So
behind
this is
the
what it looks like.
refrigerator.
Now, see how much liquid I have in there?
Yeah.
Now, some of that liquid, of course, is the fat that renders, which is good, because this piece of meat is 35-65 fat to lean. So the fat is gonna render. So we take this off. This is the skin and the fat. Comes off very, very easily,
Yeah, I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna try it. It's fine.
I'm gonna take off every visible piece of fat. So by the time this is finished, it's a relatively lean.
Some people leave the fat in
Yeah, you can.
What? Really?
Well, I'm sure when you buy it at a commercial place, they leave some of the fat in, yeah. All right, so now, just get me a plate, okay, a dinner plate. I'm gonna move this pot a little bit.
You want a bowl like this?
Oh, that's good, yeah. So I'm gonna just take a hunk. Give me a couple of forks then. Take a hunk. And you just, let me just dump this and I'll put it in the dish. This is gonna get warmed up again. So we're just gonna shred it, like that. Okay? Now, if it's big, big, big pieces, you can cut them. Because you want this to be able to fit on a bun, and you don't want everything hanging out the ends. So if it's a great big piece, you've taken off. Now, when you do an 8 or 9 pound roast, you're gonna wind up with about 5 pounds or so of finished meat. Because you have the bones, you have the fat, and of course you have the skin. So I just take out another hunk, and you just keep doing that until everything is all shredded. Here's the bone.
Can you buy a smaller pork butt? Do they come a little smaller?
They do come smaller, but you know, it's really silly because it's just as much work and this freezes beautifully.
Oh, after you shred it?
After you shred it and after you put it in the sauce,
Oh, with sauce.
with the sauce, and it freezes beautifully. And it's wonderful to have in the freezer. It's a meal. See how easy this falls apart? Here's the bone.
That's a shoulder, right?
This is the shoulder.
Yeah, that's nice.
On top of nachos.
It's a shoulder, but it's from called a butt.
And I'll talk
Makes
about
sense.
that.
What was the
Yeah.
story? I can't remember. But something about hanging.
Yeah.
I'll tell you again.
Hanging in the butcher's, whatever.
We're from the boats.
From the what?
From the boats, when they had it on the boats.
When they hung it upside down. There's something about when they hung it upside down,
Yeah.
right?
The top is on the bottom, you call it.
Yeah.
But it really is the shoulder.
You get about
No, it's because of the, I'll tell you. It's because of the boxes.
That's fine.
Barbecue sauce by magic.
Okay, so this is what it looks like, and then we just put it in the sauce. Now, if this was hot, we would just serve it. But if it's not, if you've done it ahead, you just warm it up. That's what Steph did, she warmed it up.
What did you say you could freeze, the sauce?
Everything,
Oh, everything.
everything. I freeze it done so that all I have to do is warm it up, and you have a sandwich. And this is supposed to be a sandwich
Oh, so you could freeze it with the, you do
with the sauce. You put the sauce on.
And then freeze it.
This is just beautiful. Now see, this is a big piece.
Yeah.
This I would cut, because if I put this on a sandwich that long,
Right.
it would be sloppy and hang off the, so I'll do that later. All right, so let's look at the pork chart.
High on the hog.
High on the hot, you remember that?
Yeah,
That's
I-
right.
It took a little bit, but it came
Right.
back.
Yes, that's it.
Good.
You're living high off the hog.
Yeah.
So here's the pig, and when you look at the shoulder, you can see how close it is to the head and the feet. So it's the toughest part of the pig. It has the most connective tissue because of all the 7 muscles. It's got a bone, there's tissue connected to the bone. So you've got a lot of stuff going on here, and all that melts. You can see how I didn't have any trouble separating the muscles because they just fall apart. Now, when this pig was hung up, he was hung up by his back legs. And as they started to butcher him, now this pig came from the Midwest through the Great Lakes to Boston, and that's in the Boston harbors where they used to do this. They used to butcher the pigs on the boats, and they had these boxes on the boats called butt boxes. And Steph thinks it's because the people that invented the boxes were called,
That was the name.
that was the name, the Butt family. So
Oh.
they had these butt boxes on the boat. So this was considered junk. This was for the poor people. This was going to the hotels and the stores and the rich people, but this was going to the poor people. So they threw these pieces of meat into these butt boxes, and the pieces became known as Boston butts. Because you would think that a butt should be the leg. But this B-U-T, no, not two T's, this is the prime piece of a pig. A fresh ham is the ultimate in a roast for pork. They weigh about 25 or more pounds.
Sorry.
And when you cure that 25-pound piece of meat, you get down to about 17 or 18 pounds. And of course, you can take the bone out. But this was the last thing that was cut off, because they would take this off first, throw it in the butt boxes. This is the loin. That's the next best part, and then this is the best. So when they took the ham off, and it was hanging the last thing, if you were eating a ham, that's how you were living high on the hog, and that's where the term came from. But nothing of the back end of the pig is ever called, ever
I had to
called
do the family
a butt.
name.
It was yeah.
Wow.
So it's just
Very
interesting.
confusing
Yeah.
because butt and shoulder.
What year were you thinking this is?
Oh, this is probably in the 1800s,
Maybe even earlier.
or earlier than that.
Such good food history.
Yes. Well, now here in Connecticut and in New England, you'd find a Boston butt. If you went to Texas, you wouldn't find a Boston butt.
Huh.
What would they do with it?
It would be a shoulder.
Shoulder.
It would be a shoulder.
They would just call it something
They would just
different.
call it a shoulder. But here, because of the history,
So if you go into the grocery store, it'll show as a pork butt.
a pork butt or sometimes a shoulder, whatever. But if it says a Boston butt, you know what it means.
Very interesting. I'll just do foil. Can I just take foil and rub it?
Yeah.
Would you cut mine in half, please? Oh, she already did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see how much I'm getting off of here. And there's another.
Thank you.
So you want me to just make yours?
Yeah, I'll make
You want to keep it whole? That'd be better if
I
it's
think
whole.
the one at the end, after everybody else is, I'm not gonna be eating it, so at the end it's fine.
You're not gonna eat this?
Oh, and you put coleslaw on it.
What?
No? Yeah.
You don't want coleslaw?
No, it looks good.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're supposed to serve
That
with
was an
coleslaw.
affirmative.
You're supposed to serve with coleslaw, yeah.
I don't think we heard that.
Now, somebody went to a wedding this weekend, and they had pulled pork,
Pulled pork bar.
a pulled pork bar,
Oh.
and they had the pulled pork in a mason jar
Oh.
with a little bit of cornbread on the bottom,
Nice.
and then they had all the toppings. They had coleslaw, they had pickles, they had all kinds of accoutrement that you could put in the. I know this was a caterer that did this.
Oh, I love
Because
that
they-
idea.
I guess they're trying not to do too much of
Touching.
touching,
I made a lot of the charcuteries in little cups all last summer and brought them, and people loved having
Yeah.
their individual cup.
Yeah, Steph did.
Decorated it.
Chrissy did that with the vegetables with veggies and dip.
Yeah, all our outdoor book clubs, we tried to keep everything.
Yep, we did everything
Yeah.
separate.
The only problem is the waste. Of
I
the-
know.
I hate that. Gotta figure out how to
The
do paper cones or
Right.
something, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we did like a box lunch at someone's shower.
Yeah.
That was nice, it was very nice.
Very excited.
So nice.
Everybody's got their vaccines, so
Everything's
sorry.
the end is stuff.
I'll come around with foil.
Individually wrapped, it costs so much extra.
It's what?
It costs so much extra for parties when
Oh, I know.
everything individually wrapped. It's crazy.
You know, what's in here is really just the fat. Okay? So this is
So
all,
good.
this is all the waste.
Mm.
And like I said, I probably have a good, I'm sure I have a good 5 pounds of meat here.
Sure. Now you freeze that all together,
Put the sauce on it first.
but you freeze this whole big.
No.
No,
Break it down. Because it's too much.
It's too much, right.
For me, I mean, if I'm gonna make 2 sandwiches out of it, I'll just freeze it in like a plastic Tupperware thing.
Can you get, that's the pineapple.
That's the pine- okay.
It's probably done, that was 45.
Okay.
So.
Oh,
That was delicious.
isn't that good?
This was the homemade barbecue sauce.
That's on the recipe, yep.
She says you can freeze it. Can you freeze? You said you put everything together and
Just
freeze
like this, yep.
it? Oh, is that what yours was?
Well, it wasn't frozen, but it's got the barbecue sauce all mixed in, so.
I'll take that.
And when I reheat this, because this was in the fridge overnight and it really kind of like congeals into, you know, one very solid blob, I put a little bit of water at the bottom of the pan to sort of loosen it up a little bit and so it doesn't burn. And then, so I covered it, put it on low, let it come to a boil, like a very low boil, and then took the lid off to let it, you know, like the water evaporate again.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
I'm so upset about them.
I know.
Thinking of
Yeah,
that.
it's so
I
sad.
thought you guys knew that.
Steph,
No, I read it. I gave you my good
I
time
didn't
on
see
it.
it.
She's such a good one.
How old was he?
85. It was so strange that they never put an obituary in the paper or anything at all.
You guys read it.
Yeah, it was in the paper.
It was?
Yeah, it was.
That's how I knew.
But I usually see it in the local papers, and I didn't
What
see
paper
it.
did you see it in?
The register.
But
I didn't.
usually the register goes into the shoreline.
I didn't-
the shoreline
I-
paper.
Religiously.
That's how I found out, that's how I knew.
Me too, because I thought I would have heard it from through the book, but I didn't hear it that way.
I did not, I looked. I did not see it in the register. When did, so right when he died, you saw it? It was in September, he died in September.
Yeah, I saw it in the paper. That's how I knew.
I was very surprised, well, I didn't see
I was
it.
shocked because
Did you know he was sick?
Yeah. They had a birthday party for him right before. And they did a, they asked people to do one of those video things, so everybody sent in a video. We sent in like a 30 or 60-second video, and then they strung them all together and show them or something.
that's nice.
I don't know. So they sent, after the party, which I guess wasn't really a party, they sent all the people that had participated in it, they sent the
So you can see
compilation so we
Yeah.
can see the whole thing, yeah.
It was in the Foot School, you know, when you read in the back about the classes.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a thing to Charlotte and to Sophie, because Sophie was in my daughter's class.
Oh.
You know, I'm sorry about your father, you know.
And Charlotte taught there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Thank you, dear.
I have to look up the obit then. I can't believe I mean, I religiously.
I do too. So do I, and you know, it feels like when I skip a day, I miss, that's when I miss
I wonder if it
or something.
was in different editions or something. That's so strange.
Could be.
Because that, I know you read the obituaries religiously.
I do. I do.
I do too.
That's the only thing I get for the register.
I know.
I hate the paper, it's
I
so
do too,
awful.
it's a really
Bad paper.
But I never, ever don't read it. I mean, I always look.
Maybe it was online and not in the paper?
I was debating, but I think.
We still have pie, so.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't make yours yet, Karen.
It's okay. Here, take care of everybody else. I'm right.
Did you get home to Ryan? You want, we can make
No,
food.
that's okay.
It's
That's
not a
okay, that's
problem.
fine.
Like
No,
plenty of
no,
stuff.
that's fine. You're so generous, thank you.
Well, make her two. You know, you're doing me a huge favor. We have plenty of food.
I know you. Oh, I know that. I know you do. I'm waiting for more turtles. No, I'm only kidding. I was telling Gail, asked Gail if she had ever made those this weekend. They're so good.
I know if I make them again, I'm just going to eat them all. And I just.
Really, so
So you didn't hear
fine.
the, you didn't hear the story. I went to the beach
I ate
road
breakfast.
on
I got home at
Wednesday.
2:30 this morning.
And Rich was away, so Michael did my hair. And so Michael had a little bag on his station, and I said, "Is that candy?" He said, "No, it's
Thank you.
dog treats." I said, "Oh."
But they didn't have any.
I know. I said, "Oh." He said, "What's the matter? You're dying for chocolate?" I said, "Oh my God, I'm dying for chocolate." I said, "I'm dying for chocolate and caramels." I said, "You know what? You know what turtles are? I love turtles." He goes, "Oh, I love turtles. I love turtles." I get in the car. I'm driving home. I said, "Oh God Almighty, I need a turtle." We got home. I made the turtles. I made the turtles. I made 32 turtles. Okay, that's what the batch makes. 32. I ate 6. I had 2 for breakfast the next day. Karen was over that day. You had some. Chris had a couple. But all and my My granddaughter's boyfriend had a couple, but I ate the rest of them.
We have to add that to your list for
That's a lot.
I know, yes, yes, we're definitely doing those next year. They are out of this.
Did you ever have the little Cadbury with the caramel in the middle? This is a substitute, like individually wrapped.
A Cadbury, no, I don't think I've ever had the, oh, maybe I have, yes, they sell them in a bag with other,
Yeah.
yeah. I have had that, yeah.
You didn't bring Michael one?
You know, by the time I went back to the beauty parlor, they were gone. I wanted, I was going to put some aside for him, and it's terrible. I'm like an addict when it comes to candy, an absolute addict.
It's in the house, I have to finish it.
Oh.
It's like, I just constantly thinking
Those
about
whoopie
it.
pies,
Oh, I can't wait to try a whoopie pie. I have to make those.
oh my God, I was just like,
That was online, we didn't
Those
eat
look
that.
so good.
I ate them.
I ate them.
Oh, good Lord.
Those look so good.
Is anybody gonna wanna take their pie home?
Yes, please.
I
have to remember to bring my dishes and get back in the routine.
Right.
You know, let's use the paper dishes.
I had certain ones I always bought that were just the right size.
Oh, do you mean to take home?
Yeah.
Okay.